Check out this episode of the Patch Notes from the Pre-Patch Podcast.
Tony has been playing Dragon Ball Sparking. Is it Dragon Ball Z or is it just Dragon Ball Sparking Zero?
Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero.
Okay, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. Because it's not just Z though, isn't it? Doesn't it go, or is it really only in the Z?
It's really Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
I was about to say because it's it's a lot,
but it's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. You know.
So tell me about it.
So this game, what can't I say about this game? This game is really good. I enjoyed the story mode. I was just going through as Goku. There's plenty of story modes to choose from. There's Goku, Vegeta, you got Gohan, you got Piccolo. There's just multitude of story like scenarios to go through. And it takes you from the original, well, it starts, well, at least with Goku, it starts at the Saiyan saga, and then you go through each saga as well as jumping into GT and then Super. To unlock like a multitude of characters. There's 182 playable characters.
I was gonna ask how many playable characters are. So out of those 182, how many are Goku?
I think
181
7 or 8. No, 7 or either 8. Bills, I believe. So you got the regular one, you got Kaioken, Super 2, 3. Yeah, about 7. Because then you got the Ultra Instinct, and you got Super Saiyan 4 and all that. I didn't understand why they did that at first, but then when explained to me by some veterans of the Dragon Ball Z genre, they said that the reason they separated all of the characters like that was to
completely
give
different
movesets. To make them move sets, but because if you just transform, they'll give you a completely different set of movesets. But the thing was, they didn't want, when people were playing ranked, to just choose Goku and be able to cycle through each and every
do everything.
Do everything. If you're gonna choose one version of Goku, that's where you're gonna stay unless you play in, like, I believe, custom matches or whatnot.
Right.
This game on story mode is very, for me, I'm not the biggest like fighting game enthusiast, but I would have to say the story mode was fairly like challenging. I don't know if anybody's been online and been seeing all of the memes of the grade 8 Vegeta just kicking everyone's ass. Like it was. It's incredible to know that as a community of people, everybody just like fuck that grade 8 Vegeta form, because it was just kicking everybody. Everybody was losing to it. It was difficult.
Was that the wall boss? Like
that is
the gamer wall.
But see, the thing is, the story mode for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I think they dialed up the difficulty, because if you lose enough, it'll say on the screen, "Hey, would you like to decrease the difficulty?"
Get fucking better, noob.
It's basically like giving you the middle finger, like you suck. Like
I was about to say, does that ever like? Me personally, anytime that pops up, it just makes me want to beat it anymore. Like, fuck no.
Right. It stings
Absolutely
so bad.
not.
I don't never turn it down just because of that.
I contemplated that shit on Warhammer, though. I'm going to tell you right now, and I was like, motherfucker, bro, I can't get through the tutorial.
But I have to say, if this Dragon Ball game is it's a gem. Even if, you know what I mean, you're losing, there's beam battles, there's other move sets, there's different types of transformations. There's like countering in this game. The moves are a lot different from what, if anybody in here has played like the very last Budakai Tenkaichi like 3.
Yeah,
it differs. Like your moves can change just depending on if you're playing on the classic settings or the default settings, the new settings, in my opinion, that they put into the game. And it tells you that at the very beginning of the game. Very beginning, as soon as you boot up, do you want classic or do you want these defaults? Well, default did them classics, and I was just like, I'll try.
What's the difference between them? Like,
so there's some button presses that are different. I.e., like your guard.
So it's like controllers. In comparison to like the last game, if people were more akin to the last game's controller rather than this one.
Right. So those little button nuances can mean the difference between you blocking something and you taking whatever. Yeah. So it's a good game though. It really is good. I understand why the buzz is all about on on the internet about this like, and even so, like, it's not balanced. However, let me say that when I say it's not balanced, I'm saying that, and they did this purposefully. Um, they did it on purpose to so you understood like you can't you can pick certain characters and still win. These are the unicorns of the community that know ins and out of everything about the game, so they can pick a low tier character and probably beat you if you still Ultra Instinct Goku. You're not guaranteed to win just because you pick Ultra Instinct Goku, but they have advantages over other characters like Master Roshi, Yajirobe, the ones who can't fly. Like if you can't fly, you do a high jump, and that's about it. And then you just come floating down.
Master Roshi can't fly?
Master Roshi always utilized the flying Nimbus. Well, actually, he had it. He won it. I don't think he ever used it. Can't remember.
Well,
yeah,
so
I could have sworn I remember him flying, but I guess not.
here's my thing about this, which I think, for me, like I like fighting games. I play, quite a bit of them. I've done the Street Fighter and the, Marvel vs. Capcoms and Versus series and all that kind of stuff, right? I think that it's, there is a definite line here that some people are like, I don't know, because this does not look like your typical fighter, right? Like your typical fighter is on a singular plane, and you're facing one another. Obviously you've got Tekken, right, where it's, a 3D environment, but you're still within a, kind of facing one another and have a 3D plane. This is, you're over the shoulder, and your, character that you're facing, your opponent, could be way the fuck far away that you can't really see them. And it's just a different kind of aspect. Now, I mean, how have, like, I know, again, I know you said you're not big on the, fighting games, but like, do you like that? Do you think that, what have you heard from the community?
I don't really mind this type of fighting game. There's like 3 Budokai Tenkaichis like this.
Yeah, I was about to say, but they have fighting games like that though, where it's like on a 2D plane and everything like that. And
they have Naruto, One Piece. Most of the anime fighters take either the open approach like this or the 2D, I come this way, you come this way, and we meet up in the middle type business.
Right,
but the reason I like games like this was because, okay, for the 2D fighter style, when you go on a Dragon Ball Z type feel, it was always a dynamic of being 3D. I would like to hit you so hard you launch across the map, and then I do something to. You can't get that effect with a 2D fighting style. Dragon Ball,
I feel like 2D. You're not doing Dragon Ball justice.
I mean, fighters.
Really.
Fighters did really good. Fighters, like Dragon Ball Z
they didn't.
Fighters was really strong because they would have combos that would do these types of things, right? Like they would send you across the map and it would change, but whatever else. Obviously not to this extent. It's just something that I like as a fighting fan. I have played Budakai. Like, I mean, Dragon Ball Z Budakai was like, I remember that shit on the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox. Like, I love that shit, right? So, but it's been that long since I have played a Budakai Taienchi game. And so, coming in and seeing Sparking Zero, having that long of a gap, I was like, I don't know if this is a fighting game that I'm really going to be able to like kind of get into. It's also too, it's not like your typical fight, like you don't do quarter circles and Dragon Ball punches, right? Like it's all like button based, right?
It's all button based, button combo. With has a lot to do with blocking and being able to just kind of read when your opponent's about to do something as well. If you're really good at timing and parries, this is something that'll work for you too as well, because this is me playing against the AI, the computer. But if you go into online PvP, oh my days, there are some people there. So with the online PvP for this game, right? They make it so I played a couple of matches, nothing serious because I'm not the biggest fighting game person, but playing a couple of matches that I did play, most people are gonna go for Goku, your main characters. They're over 182 playable, but they're gonna go for your strongest ones. All of the characters that they built up over the seasons and years that Dragon Ball Z has been out,
40 years.
they're not like those characters are hardly used unless
That
you're
that
an enthusiast that kind of like loves this character in and out, and you wanna play with just that one character. I get
yeah,
that, but when you go online, there's nothing but Ultra Instinct Gokus,
yeah.
um, Super Saiyan
That,
4, Go Cheetahs, and all time. And I loved it seeing one of these guys online use Captain Genyu and change. He did the change body swap every time he met a person that just wanted to play with Goku or Vegeta. He just changed bodies, and then he had people quitting, and I loved it. It was so good.
that is one
So
of the things that I think this game is going to get praised for and get shit for, because they
yes,
went more the uh accurate power level for the characters.
Right.
So like you're not going to be able to go and run the circuit with Hercule, for instance. He's just going to get body. He's not actually going to be able to keep up with like your Super Brolys and stuff like that.
now granted, there like I've seen people take Chaozu or Hercule and
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through and beat on people in
There's
PvP. So there are
that really
there's some
it really just
goats
comes down to the actual player base, because
player.
like I
Yeah.
Yeah.
know there's other games out there. I'm blanking on the fucking name, but it's another anime one that we played recently. I can't remember the name of it though. There's people in their community that take like the ass and characters and will
On
just go and
purpose. Yeah.
dominate those things
Well, I mean,
because that's
there's always a, there's all look in every fighter. There's always a tier system, but I do think
Yeah.
like in a testament to kind of like
This
what
is
Bill
on
is saying,
purpose, though.
right?
Yeah.
it is.
Like in like games like Mortal Kombat and Marvel vs. Capcom, like if you're an MVC like player and have been in that, like Doom, Magneto, and you can sub in another character, right? Put in Strider, put in whatever Mega Man, like whatever Zero you want to put. Like those were the characters that you always saw and the teams that you always saw because they had ridiculous things. Now, yeah, granted, you would see occasional swap outs, but to me, one of the turnoffs is that like I don't like, especially because also in this game specifically, it doesn't feel, because I'm not doing like quarter circle moves, I'm not doing things that feel like there are a skill. It's just like, okay, it's almost I would almost equate it to more of like a chess game. And dear God, do not, I'm not saying chess isn't a skill, but I'm just saying like in this where it's like, hey, I'm powering up, and it's just kind of like, okay, do I hit A now or do I like, I don't know, like are there can you see like right now it's doing an anime style of like this cut scene into him doing a Kamehameha. Online, is it cutting to that character, or are you just seeing him back there? Like, how does it look like online?
No. So when I get that cutscene, everything's frozen for that period in time. You can't move. You're actually watching my cutscene.
What about online? When you do an
Interesting.
online, is it the same thing?
Yeah, if he's standing still like that, just like this, it's the same thing. So if I use a move and then you use a move, like you see my cutscene. But if you're like far from me while I'm using this, you have the timing to dodge. Now, right there, we locked in two ultimates together. And now you play this mini game in order to win it.
That's kind
See,
of cool.
that's I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I just
like that.
I mean, it's
I personally
cool.
like that. It makes it
Because
more,
let's
because
say
it
right
makes it
now,
less of a fighter and more of like a cinematic fighter. And I'm not I'm not a fighter gamer. I don't really play those
and
games. So
that's the thing. It's a little bit of both, because at this point, like where I'm standing now, if I was to launch anything, it would hit to that cutscene. He would see it, I would see it, and then I would launch it. You have either the timing to get away from it if you're far enough, or for that
or the time
matter,
to counter it.
or the time to counter it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a chess game in a
It
sense,
it's just I
depending
don't
on
know if I
certain
like,
things
to
you
me
do.
as a fighting fan,
Mhm.
you look at like Evo and that's kind of like your main stage, right? Like Evo is where fighting games go to get their glory. And I don't, again, maybe this will be on on Evo's stage or at Evo. It's just weird in that sense because of that type of fighter that it is, right? It's like I don't know. It's not your typical fighter. So I don't, I mean, maybe it
Mhm.
will. And I think that's great. But I do think that it should, like, I feel like online it should do some type of scaling to where it's like, we can like, your, more earthling style characters are going to be completely okay if you have the skill against these ultra instinct. Like I don't know shit about
Yeah,
these games, but like ultra instinct stuff.
bringing in fucking Master Yoshi and not giving him the ability to fucking fly is fucking weird to me. That's
So-
you got Master Yoshi can't fly, Hercule can't fly. There's certain like
that's kind of
That-
weird. Like
yeah.
I
That's one
would
of
have
the
at least given them some kind of like like again, like you said, Master Yoshi and the fucking Nimbus Cloud. Like give him a Nimbus Cloud, make it so he can fucking fly.
Master Roshi.
Yoshi like Mario.
Roshi. Yeah,
Roshi,
Roshi.
yeah.
No, that's one of the biggest flaws. I think that this is going to keep this game from really
Mhm.
being the top tier, at least in the 1v1 scene, is the fact that there is no like level system, like
so
level
the-
scaling, because each character is assigned a certain amount of points that is their
Mhm.
power level, basically. And I know if you do multiple character battles where you can like choose a team of people, you're locked to 12 points. You can spread this
And you
12
can
points
only-
across the roster
Mhm.
and fill out your team that way. You can have some lower tier ones, you can have some upper tier ones. That's all well and fine. 1v1s, it's literally a free for all, no limits on who you pick. And unfortunately, I feel like once you hit like the upper tiers of like a professional scene of this, it's going to get very stagnant and very stale.
Oh shit, they got Vegito.
I agree.
That's cool.
But the only thing I would have to disagree on is the fact that the reason this game is going to do well and probably stay out unless they make something else, another fighter, is just behind the fact that this is the next game after Akira Toriyama's death. And
Right.
this
Yeah.
game is just doing
That's
so
fair.
well right now. That if I'm not trying to just say it's doing well because of his death, but this is something that hasn't been out in a very long time. Like a Tenkaichi, like hasn't been out since PlayStation 2 era.
Yeah, it's been quite a
So
while. I remember
it's been a
playing it on the
long time
PlayStation 2.
since they made something like this, like a Budakai Tenkaichi. It's not. I'm not saying like this form of game, but that title,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's just.
No, I get what you mean.
This is what it is, like Dragon Ball Spark and Zero, but it was Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi. So
Speaking
I-
of Akira Toriyama, I can't ever fucking pronounce his last name. Did you guys see they got inducted into the what's it called, the New York Comic Con Hall of Fame this
nice.
year?
That's awesome.
oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
dope.
They gave him honorary rights and gave him that. This is again, like I said, this is their 40th anniversary this year, and yeah, he got in there with John Buscemi, Larry Hama, Serigo Aragons, and Arthur Adams. So
Oh, and for anybody that was wondering, the developer is Spike Chunsoft, and the publisher, of course, is Bandai Namco.
Now
I
you
thought
said
they
it,
actually
now,
published and developed it.
I did hear that there was a little bit of drama around the cost for this game.
So here's the thing. When this game first was announced, that like a lot of people were asking about it and stuff, and people was like, okay, well, how do I play right now? If you wanted to play right now, there was a deluxe edition. That is $100,
of course,
right?
Right.
because
just like-
2024, you gotta have a
Right.
fucking deluxe edition that's over $100.
That has
Come
early
on.
access. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
just-
gotta
so you
do
get-
it.
There you go. So there's a deluxe edition for $100, and then there's the ultimate edition for $110.
Of
Here's the
course,
thing: if
yeah.
if you got the ultimate edition, you could play. And this is the thing with fighters: everybody wants to play earlier so they can get good before
course, FOMO.
everybody else piles in
Yeah.
on the regular release day. So what do you think happened? They had a flood of people
course.
purchase the game for $100 so they can play Sparking Zero early. And
How early
here's
are
the
we
thing,
talking?
if
How
you-
early was it opened up for?
I'm assuming 3 days, right?
Some people got copies a week early, like they
Mm.
physical copies. Some
Yeah.
people got those a week early. Like
Mm.
from
Well, another
what I
point to
understood,
physical. Let's go. Chalk it up.
yeah, that was actually pretty
Yeah.
dope. But my thing with the deluxe edition is you're getting some extra. I believe you get some extra characters. Hold on, excuse me. Let me make sure I'm correct about this. For the deluxe edition, you get the season pass, 3 packs including the Dragon Ball Z Superhero and Dragon Ball Diamond content that contains more than 20 playable characters. I guess those you get a 20 plus playable characters with the season pass, however. And then you get a season pass bonus of Summon Shenron and 3 days early access to the 3 DLC packs. So
yeah.
you're
And then the
probably
deluxe, the ultimate edition got Super Shenron, while as the non-deluxe edition just got the 3-day early access and the season pass. It looks like.
and I get it. I understand people wanted to practice. This is one of the greatest, Dragon Ball Z games like popping right now. But I couldn't see myself. I mean, unless you're really a fan, I just wasn't gonna, drop $100 for it. But
Yeah.
hey, Bandai knocked it out the park with this. Well,
Yeah.
Spike Chunsoft and Bandai, they knocked it
Oh,
out the
it's-
park with this.
It's another of those situations of like the Diablo 4 early access making people pay so much money for the Diablo 4 early access.
Games are going towards
fans
that
of
type
Diablo. Fans of Diablo are gonna fucking pay whatever because
Hey,
they're
shut your
fucking
mouth!
content
Don't you
stuff.
talk about my game.
Shut the fuck up, Whale.
No, that's
But yeah,
But-
dude, fans of this are going to pay whatever because they're starved for content. They want more Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
content.
I have
So-
to say this. It's a good game though. Like I
I mean,
won't take
very
that away
very
from you. It's
positive
very
at
good.
26,000 reviews on Steam is
Yeah.
impressive. you know.
Everything I've seen, it looks fucking awesome. And like I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, even though I said Master Yoshi. I realize that. Don't come at me.
That's your league coming out.
I have been a Dragon Ball fan since I was like 11. Like I've been watching them forever. Like this looks awesome to me, and it does give you that feel of Dragon Ball Z. I'm just not a fucking fighter fan. I just don't.
Well, maybe
I
this
don't
is your
play
game
them,
though. You don't have to be
unfortunately.
like you can just hit buttons. You don't have to do the motions.
Yeah,
and the
maybe.
moves. I mean, that's a big
Mhm.
deterrent.
I
so.
did like the one that was on the PlayStation 2, whatever that one was. I picked that one up and I fucking played the shit out of that one. But
Nice. All right. Well, there you go. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero out now on I think pretty much every platform, Steam,
Yep.
PlayStation, and is it also crossplay? Can you play with?
It is not
console?
crossplay.
Motherfuckers. Well, there you go.
Thanks again for checking out the Patch Notes, part of the Pre-Patch Podcast, which we do live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Or you can check us out on anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast or any place that podcasts are listened to. Thanks again. Much love.